Many of us have seen the Barbie movie, either in theaters this summer or more recently streaming on HBO. One of the big moments of the movie is the monologue delivered by actress America Ferrera about the complexities and sometimes impossibilities of being a woman. The contradictions ingrained into the female experience, like, quote, "You have to be thin but not too thin, and you can never say that you want to be thin. You have to say you want to be healthy, but also you have to be thin." Or another quote from the monologue, "You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women because you're supposed to be part of the sisterhood." Millions resonated with this monologue and the silent struggles it brought to the surface. One of the lines that spoke to me most was, "You're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about your kids all the damn time." Admittedly, I talk about my child all the time because I'm crazy about him, because he's so central to the stage of life I'm living right now, and because in so many ways, becoming a mother radically changed me. I was changed both by taking on the identity of being Matan's mom and also by the journey leading up to motherhood, which for me was the physical experience of pregnancy and childbirth. I had a difficult pregnancy with our son. I was pretty sick the whole way through, exasperated by living at altitude over 5,000 feet high in Denver. I had bizarre things that happened, as so many who experience pregnancy do, like when my gums swelled so badly that they physically separated my front two teeth. I had a gap that, much to my dentist's surprise, miraculously closed itself after our son was born. And I also had a more serious complication that changed how I lived the last few months of my pregnancy. That complication brought with it more doctors, more appointments, more scans, more fear and anxiety, more medical bills. I was induced at 39 weeks and was in labor for 36 hours. Thank you. Thank God. In the end, Matan and I were both healthy and safe, but the road to get there wasn't straight. My labor and delivery was complicated. At every turn, there was seemingly a new challenge. 8 weeks postpartum, I ran into the doctor who delivered Matan. She said, "Oh, I remember you. We still talk about your delivery." On my physical journey to motherhood, I was incredibly privileged. I had excellent health insurance and access to quality medical care close to my home. I was listened to and taken seriously by medical professionals. I lived in a state that, like Massachusetts, protected my reproductive rights. I had maternity leave and access to childcare and support that allowed me to heal and recover. We could afford to pay the medical bills that we incurred, including the unbelievable $40 charge for the single Tums antacid I was given during labor. Sitting at home with a 1-month-old baby as we watched the news of Roe v. Wade being repealed, Matthew and I reflected on all of these privileges we had and still how difficult and complicated our journey was to bring this life into the world. It was this difficult with all of these things. How different it could have been, how different it is for so many families. So many massive societal issues converge at the nexus point of reproductive justice, including racial, socioeconomic, and geographic inequality in access to reproductive health care. And in a post-Roe v. Wade world, it's only getting more complicated. OBGYNs are fleeing states where abortions are illegal, creating medical deserts, and more specifically, abortion deserts, where healthcare needs are largely unmet. Lack of access to reproductive health care, including but not limited to abortions, not only impacts individuals in these specific situations, but has a trickle-out effect to our entire social ecosystem. Reproductive rights and access to reproductive health care is beyond a political issue. It's a people issue. It's a human rights issue, and it's a Jewish issue. We are honored tonight to be one of so many congregations nationally taking part in Repro Shabbat, this annual celebration that honors the Jewish value of reproductive freedom. Repro Shabbat is always scheduled for this week when we read Parshat Mishpatim, the Torah portion that contains the verses that have become the foundation of Jewish support for reproductive health, rights, and justice. Mishpatim says that if two people are in a physical altercation and one of them pushes a pregnant woman, v'yatsu yiladeha, and she miscarriages, the one who pushed her will owe a fine, but if other damages occur, the penalty will be nefesh tachat nefesh, a life for a life. The punishment associated with causing a miscarriage is explicitly different from causing a death, reflecting that the Jewish understanding of the legal status of a fetus is not as its own living being. This aligns with Judaism's unwaveringly consistent commitment to the preservation of life, and specifically here, the life of the mother. We use this as the textual underpinning for Jewish support for reproductive justice, but it's not just that. Parshat Mishpatim and so much of the Torah present us with rules to teach us how to live our lives. Our medieval commentator Ibn Ezra said, Ikar kol hamitzvot liyasher halev. The essential purpose of all commandments is to make the heart upright. So much of our Jewish tradition is rooted in guiding us through life, how to live, how to act, how to care for the other, to be a light unto the nations, to lift up the fallen and welcome the stranger and repair the world. How to pursue goodness in a world that we know isn't always good. The mitzvot, the commandments, and really all of the Torah are here to help us know what is good. And in the process of pursuing that, we can yasher halev, lift our hearts upright. We are so grateful to Abby Posner, Meredith Ross, and the entire congregants for reproductive justice effort, for helping us to pursue that good and guiding our hearts upright in seeking equal access to reproductive health care. At 8 tonight, in the sanctuary or on Zoom, we're looking forward to hearing from Sapna Khatri, Director of Attorney General Andrea Campbell's new Reproductive Justice Unit, as we work to grasp the immensity of this issue and what we can do to help. Access to quality health care should be a fundamental human right, period. Not dependent on red state, blue state, your economic situation, your racial or ethnic identity. As a Jewish community, we are blessed with this sacred opportunity and obligation to take part in making that a reality. Shabbat shalom.
We rise, humbly hearted, rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves there. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise. All of God's children rise. Women with wisdom rise. Sisters surround us, rise. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer,
ourselves here in hope, in prayer. We're right here and we rise up from the wreckage, rise with tears and with courage, rise fighting for life, rise in hope, in prayer. We find ourselves here in hope, in prayer. We're right here in hope, in prayer. We find ourselves here in hope, in prayer. We're right here, so we rise, humbly hearted, rise. We won't be divided, rise with spirit to guide us, rise.
We remain